Hi, my name is Taylor Hines, and I'm going to discuss our baseline analysis of the proposal to production process. To provide a valid assessment, it is important to have an understanding of the progression of the proposal to production process. This is why we conducted a baseline analysis that analyzed the past and current state of this process, as well as introducing our basis for future recommendations. In the past, QEP was a much smaller operation, which relied on a smaller number of people who were involved with the proposal to production process, leading to a more consistent process. As the company grew, many new hires had little to no guidance on operational procedures. Increased workload led to many to neglect best practices. QEP has recently discovered that training deficiencies, gaps in processes and procedures, and a general lack of understanding of the overall concepts have hindered constructive interaction between many departments. As discussed throughout the analysis of QEP's workflow process, they recently underwent a software conversion that has greatly changed the process, as well as the need for modifications to the existing workflow. First, I will give an overview of the way the process flowed prior to the most recent software conversion. Whether it be a non-operated or operated well, the land department or regulatory department would initiate the AFE process in a system known as the AFE Center. This system would automatically route to the appropriate department as it moved through the well approval process. Once approved, land would notify the JIB accountants of either the interest in a non-operated well to set up the JIB deck, which would allow accounts payable to pay incoming invoices for that well, or for an operated well, elections would be sent out to see who would elect to participate in the well. After the election period is over, a breakdown of ownership with working interest percentages would be given to the JIB accountants to send bills proportionately to the ownership in the new well. If anyone did not participate, the payout accountant would be notified of who to track for payout. At that point, division orders would wait for either a notification of the receipt of a check from an operator for a non-operated well, or for a notice of initial production, also known as an IP notice, to begin the building of a revenue deck needed to process revenue. Once revenue was received or distributed, from that point forward, it was division order's job to do any ownership maintenance needed on the well. Currently, QEP is now utilizing the new software, which has forced processes to be adjusted accordingly. While many of them have improved, there are still many gaps that need to be filled to create a more cohesive workflow. While the process is very similar to the way it was in the past, in general, the new software and an effort to clean up records has prompted a few adjustments. For instance, the AFE Center is no longer used, as the AFE workflow process now occurs in SAP, which is one of the new software systems being utilized by QEP. Due to system functionality, a cost center is required prior to the creation of an AFE, which prompts the need for a well record and JIB deck to be created prior to having any election information. This is different from the past because the AFE process began prior to the setup of a well record, and a JIB deck was only set up at the time QEP had election information. Another difference is that QEP's division order department now sets up the JIB deck rather than the JIB accountants. This allows for more consistency between the timing of changes on the JIB deck as well as the revenue deck. At the time this is created, the division order analyst also sets up any owners applicable to payout if a payout scenario exists for that well. Before a division of interest is set up, which is where the revenue will be booked, the interest that QEP has in a well is confirmed and a well remark is placed into the system, notating the calculation of how QEP's interest is derived. If any discrepancies exist, the division order analyst assigned to the well would reach out to the appropriate parties to get the discrepancy resolved and the records adjusted accordingly. After conversion to the new system, the creation of well files has not been consistent, which is one of many areas that needs improvement. While the process has improved greatly from the past to the present, there are still many areas for improvement. These improvements have been identified and are discussed at length in the following presentations. Wyatt Botwell will now discuss some of the additional operational analysis.